Hello, everyone. I'm MMA, Marketing Manager at Repli, and today I'm here with Ryan Perez, Executive Vice President of Capital Square Living. Over a year, Repli and Capital Square Living have been cultivating a very strong partnership, and we are so excited to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ryan, can you please briefly describe what made Repli stand out when you first were introduced to them at Social Media Summit in Napa Valley?
Was introduced to the Repli group, was familiar with what the premise of the offering was initially, but once I learned more about what it was that Repli could do and the multitude of areas that you could service, I was quickly interested, and that began, a fast relationship. And I think that was Social Media Summit 2 years ago. So that really kicked us off.
Would you like to speak on a specific incident or a turning point that kind of made you realize Repli would be that solution to a lot of your problems?
We were really in search of a couple of different things. First and foremost, obviously, was the corporate website. And I just think that the examples that they were able to show me and what we walked through, all of the different offerings, they could do anything A to Z, whatever you could imagine they could bring to life. That's really what set them apart. That and the fact that in vetting several different vendor partners for this huge project, which was our corporate website rollout, our timeline was to create and launch a website inside of 90 days. You know that is a huge challenge. And we had partners that actually said no, which I can respect as well. Never once did they say no. They did caution about the timeline, and we walked through that very carefully, but they were game. They were amped up. They were ready to meet the challenge, and they did more than that. They absolutely 100% delivered on it.
Do you have any specific situations that occurred or anything that you would like to kind of share and talk about when it comes to that customer facing and customer communication?
I think accountability is a big part of it. Being able to lean into what you would truly consider a partnership is being able to hold both teams accountable, right? And so whereas I am holding them accountable to the timeline for delivery of the project, they were in turn holding me accountable and my team to make sure that we weren't the source of any type of holdup. And if we missed a deadline internally, that we could then turn it around to them the very next day, because that potentially could throw off the entire project. What we did is we created a really stringent timeline for all of the deliverables, what that looked like from a collaboration perspective, how often, how many times a week we had to get on the phone to review files and look at copy and look at the structure and how it was all coming together, how many notes they needed back from me, whatever the case was. We were able to follow that timeline that we had set out, which enabled us to launch on time.
That's awesome. That gave me chills. Just launching on time, those words.
Yeah. And there were a lot of conversations in between where, it's like everyone was biting their fingernails a little bit. And are we actually going to be able to pull this off? And but they knew how important it was.
How many people were kind of a part of this project on your side of things?
That's a great question. There was myself and then 3 other folks from our parent company that were heavily invested in that. It's also not too many hands in the honeypot, right? I feel like when you've got too many decision makers, it really can slow down the process.
Oh, for sure. Have there been any specific issues that came up that Repli was able to kind of help you resolve?
Specific to this project, it was more so about just the constant communication. And we had to adhere to the timeline and the deliverables at every interval, because we knew if we missed one interval, you were going to miss the timeline for that entire week. And so I wouldn't say challenges per se, more so it was really tight, the delivery. And I think probably looking back, if I had more time, I would have allotted more time to it. We just didn't have the time to give. So I'm glad that they were really up for that, because I think there was a lot of late nights. There was a lot of weekends had by all on the Repli team as well as the Capital Square Living team. So I applaud their efforts and the fact that they knew this was a huge challenge going in. They didn't tell me no. And they truly did partner with me along the way until the project was delivered and until we were happy.
Especially the happy part. Just because something's delivered, It's not always exactly what you imagined or what you want.
Right. It's probably going to be different based on the needs of each business, but our business is growing rapidly. Mm-hmm. So we have a multitude of changes all the time. Whatever the case might be, I think that they have streamlined the process and they've made it easy in a way that I simply go to a website, I input a support ticket, I then get a copy of that ticket so I know that you've received it. I know when it's been assigned to a support person, and I also know oftentimes within 24 hours when that ticket has been completed. And that's been hugely beneficial because as opposed to me going in and having access to the CMS to make these changes or having one point person, this streamlined avenue for support that's outside of those channels has made it much easier.
Is there anything else that you would like to share in particular about Repli and the partnership so far?
I think some people may not realize, I know I didn't realize until I started to have conversations with them about what their offerings looked like, is that they do also, it's not just websites, but they offer a multitude of things to multifamily. And another thing that we partner with them on is reputation.com. So what reputation.com allows us to do is to manage ratings and reviews, 5 touchpoint surveys throughout the resident lifecycle, as well as manage all of our social media channels within one platform. And that gives us a really succinct approach to ORM.
Would you recommend Repli to other people in the industry?
Absolutely. 100%. They've been a great partner. And I think true partnerships are rare, especially in multifamily, where you feel like it's not a vendor, it's truly a vendor partner that is interested in helping your business grow as the needs might be greater or less. Everything goes through ebbs and flows, but providing true support is invaluable. And I absolutely would 100% recommend them.
Thank you so much for talking with us and sharing the partnership story. It's been really, really exciting working with you guys. And if you have any questions or need anything moving forward, you can always reach out to me or anybody else on our team. But thank you again.
Thank you.